Wake up, it's the Tim Stevenson Show. Hey, this is Tim Stevenson, and welcome to the Tim Stevenson Show podcast. Today, my special guest is an old friend. She's a crazy dancer. She's my mini-me, and she just happens to be a lawyer and just a strong personality. We'd like to welcome to the Tim Stevenson podcast, Miss Jen Tedmori's in the building. What up, girl?
What's up?
It's been a minute.
How's it going?
It's been a hot minute. What's been going on with you?
I know. Well, you're on the other side of the world now.
Yeah, I know. I'm the other hot spot. So I'm in crazy Florida, and it's weird because I'm still an implant. So people are like, "Your people in Florida." I go, "My people are in California." I choose to be in Florida.
Yeah, well, we're all on lockdown. I don't know. South Florida and Florida in general is just popping.
Well, because people are still here on vacation, so or coming for vacation, and now that there's no,
I see a lot of people traveling right now.
They're still coming to the beach. They're doing whatever they want to do, and that's why apparently there's a spike, amongst other reasons. But and the people here just don't listen anyway. It's like LA. They're gonna go, "I'm gonna do what I want." You know what I mean?
Florida was the last to close. Is Miami open?
Miami's open. I mean, yeah, everyone has patio seating now, so you can't you can't. Well, that's not necessarily true. They kind of in Miami-Dade County, it's a little bit more strict. In Fort Lauderdale and Broward County, where I am at, I went to a restaurant yesterday. So inside, but it's every other table.
Yeah,
has people. And here's the thing I find extremely strange is that you have to wear the mask going in the door, but as soon as you sit down, you take your mask off.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? Right? Other than the ordinance that prohibits them from people coming in apparently without the mask so that they don't get the fine, right? So it's kind of like a technicality.
That's why everybody's doing it, right?
Right. Because most bars, I went to a bar and they go, "Oh, you can't." People say the bar's not open. I go, "Well, the bar is open." So I went to the bar and they go, "The rule is, right, you can sit at the bar if you eat, right? So if you eat, you can drink as much as you want at the bar. If you don't eat, they give you the drink to go," which is crazy because they literally give you a cup and say
with a piece of tape.
But the same thing happened in California. I went to the Yard House. I was there for Tyson's mom's funeral last week, like a week ago, right?
Yard House, what?
I was in Cali. Yeah. I was in Cali for like 2 days because I had to go to Tyson's mom's funeral, right? So yeah, that's another thought. We'll talk about that too. So I went, and me and Lyndon went to the Irvine Spectrum, and we went into the Yard House. Now, the Yard House is open, but the entire inside, you can't sit. That little tiny patio they got outside, you can sit. But because it's little, you're limiting a lot of people. So we go in there, and they go, "Well, we can serve you drinks to go." I go, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You can buy a drink, we'll put it in a plastic cup, and you can just walk right in front and drink it." I was like, so that's how they do that. People just sit there and drink in front of the door.
So stupid.
I don't know how that's better. I mean,
it's Orange County though.
Every other table, it's the same difference.
Orange County's been going off too. But I don't know. How were they at Irvine Spectrum? Were they walking around without masks on or what?
People had their masks because you have to, but you don't technically have to wear it while you're walking around because Irvine Spectrum's open.
Yeah.
You could just walk around and then put your mask on when you go into the store.
Yeah.
So most people had masks, and then they would just be like, "Oh, I got to go in there," and they go, and then they go in and they come out. But there were people, and it's kind of busy.
Yeah.
The world is crazy place.
Busy that's open.
It's just a new. It's just all I don't know.
A new normal. It's the new
normal.
normal.
I hate to call it normal at all.
It's the new normal.
Right? I know. It bugs me though. It really does bug me.
What part?
That it's still going on.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I understand why, and I wear my mask, and I don't freak out inside of a Trader Joe's because I feel like I should have the ability to not wear a mask. And I was like, look, house rules, right? No shoes, no shirt, no service, no mask, no service. Same difference. I wish people would just get over it. But when you go and you scream at the top of your lungs at a clerk or a cashier inside of a Trader Joe's, what are you going to accomplish? Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
You look like the idiot, and that's why they label those people like Karens or whatever. It's like, what is your deal? Why do you knew when you went it was going to be an issue?
I don't know. I feel like it's a bunch of people that are just don't have an outlet for their anger and are just feeling the need to project.
Right.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And I've seen so many videos, and people are getting canceled for that stuff. Like, you'd think people would think a little bit before acting. Like, there was that guy yesterday that his dad was going off, and so the two sons had to like carry him out of the store because he was yelling at people for wearing masks. And you're like, if your own sons have to like put you in check, like maybe think about. It's just, I don't.
People have this pent up. It's pent up. The COVID pent up energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Huntington Beach kids, the bro, in Huntington. I mean, they love to fight anyway. So see, as soon as you say, "Hey, you wear a mask," what you say, man, they get all like UFC on you real quick, because they feel like, I could do whatever, it's just that thing, that Huntington thing. But there's two little surfer boys are walking around in Huntington just saying, hey, if you want a mask, we're giving them out for free to anybody. 3 people got off their bikes and like wanted to fight because they were offering masks. You're like, so what does it matter, man? What is it? Why fight about that? If you don't want to wear it, don't wear it.
It's funny you said Huntington Beach. I was at the beach when everything kind of reopened on the weekends. There was a BLM protest, and then people walking across the street in mass. And there was one blonde lady that was across the way yelling at people for wearing masks, like screaming at the top of her lungs, like, you're cutting off circulation to your brain, like, you guys are idiots, take off your effing mask. And I was like, why does any of that bother you? Like, why are you letting what other people are doing bother you?
Because they feel like somebody's trying to control them, right? Isn't that what it is? Like, they're trying to tell us what to do, and then what next? I get that mentality.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why it's a big deal when it's just a piece of fabric. It's like, look, no one said you had to wear it all day, everywhere you go, other than inside a facility.
Yeah.
Just like you can't walk into Abercrombie with no shoes on, even though the kids on the wall got no shoes on. You know what I mean? You can't walk in there with no shirt on because you can't, But it's the other side of it. Everyone's, they're trying to control me and this, and that, and the other. And I've heard every conspiracy theory, and not even conspiracy. Some of them are just factual stuff that, depending on what you believe in, it's what you believe. Like, Eddie Garcia, right? So, so Eddie, because of his sister especially, and I completely agree with him, right? Because his sister, fell ill, so he doesn't want to make her susceptible to anything. So he's always wearing his mask and doing his thing. And if a vaccine comes out, he'll probably take that vaccine. So my question to him is, so what about the other people? And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, well, I don't take vaccines. I don't take flu shots. I just don't. That's just my choice. I shouldn't be forced to take a vaccine. You know what I mean? But what happens is, when you have people on the other side that are like really, really adamant about it, what they think is that you're putting other people in danger by not taking this vaccine. Therefore, you are, you know what I mean? It's like, now are they going to use that against you? Because some places are trying to drop laws like that, where like, we can force you to take a vaccine if we feel like you are a threat to the general public.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you don't take a vaccine that we feel is the cure for the general public, then we can do it against your will, because now it's a law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it gets crazy. A little, like, depending on who you're talking, it gets a little hairy in that space. I just been like watching other things because there's a lot of distractions on TV. So I'm like, turned off the TV. I turned off a bunch of negative feeds that I got. There are people who are just at odds on Facebook all day long. I'm like, you guys have to go do something. Pick up a hobby. Like,
that's the thing. Nobody has anything to do.
Right.
So like, everybody's just losing their mind. I swear, the hate. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to turn off my messages.
Oh, no, go for it.
The hate online right now is so unbelievably bad.
It's sad.
It's like, but you can't get away from it.
No, it's like everybody has something dumb to say,
everybody has an opinion.
Yeah, I was in the store, and this is right after they were like debating about Aunt Jemima or whatever. So I go into the store. I live in Parkland. Parkland is like Orange County. I mean, well, I should say Parkland is way more diverse than Orange County, but it feels like Orange County because when people go to the store, they're like suburban type, you know?
Yeah.
So I go in there, and this guy, and I know he was just trying to be funny, but he picked me, the only person standing next to the, like I had walked down the aisle where the syrup was, and he was like, oh, I better get one of these. They're going to be collector's items. And I said, I didn't know which way to take it. So I was like, does anybody care that much about syrup?
No.
Anybody?
No.
And I'm sure that dude don't buy Aunt Jemima's syrup. He was just making a point.
Have you noticed, though, have you gone to the grocery store recently and seen the syrup aisle like cleared? And I don't know if that's because they've removed them from the shelves or if people have just bought them. I don't know which one it is.
Depending on where you live, they remove them.
I live in Orange County.
Orange County, I'm sure they didn't get bought up in Orange County.
You don't think so? You don't think
they got removed? I mean, you have a lot of what I like to call undercover girls who love black people, like like on the low, but not in front of their honey.
You should have seen Newport during the protest. That was.
Well, I was actually there again. I've been there twice since COVID started. But like the first time I went to go help Kayla move out of Hollywood, and I moved her to San Clemente. So I was in San Clemente, and I was like going down the street, and there was like a protest happening. It was like a Black Lives Matter protest with all white people. It was great. I was like, wow. And there were like kids from high school. I mean, super chill.
And 90% of them were high school kids.
Kids were like, yes, we love Cardi B. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so it was all like, you know, but it was sweet though, because I was like, that's cool. I mean, because the people who are just trying to support in any way they knew how it worked.
Funny look when you're like in the, you know, suburbia of, you know, the elite, and you're like, oh, that's cute with their $500 bike, you know, rolling their way down a protest. Like I watched it. We drove by it. I was like,
let me take my Tesla to the Black Lives Matter.
And then some crazy dude drove through a crowd and like actually almost hurt somebody. And I was like, oh, geez, okay.
Well, because those people, they've already been mad. Now there's just a reason for them to act out.
Oh,
to me,
he looked angry. He
looked like protesters versus the looters. You know what I mean? Like I posted something on Facebook. There's a girl named Aria. She's a singer. She has a song called "Don't Want to Fight," and I put up pictures of like all the black dudes putting a barrier around the white cop because he got separated. From the rest
I saw that one.
And I was like, they need to show this kind of stuff because everyone just, what happens is people know there's a separation between like the rioters and anarchists who are like infiltrating Black Lives Matter, infiltrating or they're Antifa or infiltrating Aryan Nation or whatever it is. And they're just creating chaos, right?
Right.
You know, so some people know the difference because they actually care that there's a difference. Other people just ride the train, right? They just go, yeah, look at all those Black Lives Matter people. This is what happens. They're all radical. You're like, no. Because there's radicals in every walk of life.
Oh, 100%.
But they don't want to hear it. They just don't like the word black sometimes. They just like, it's like, oh, it's like.
It makes them uncomfortable.
Well, when people got all pissed off about the whole like all lives matter thing, and I was trying to explain to some people that I knew online, you know, that are dads or whatever that I teach their kids. And I was like, look, if you take the radical side and that's what you put in the forefront, that's all you're going to see. It's like saying all black people can dance and like rap music. That's all you're going to see. You got to, but because there's that in everywhere. There's that in the White House. There's that in every party is got radicals. Democrats got crazy radicals. Republicans got crazy radicals, period. Right?
I'll tell you what, like, though, this time right now is definitely bringing out who's crazier and who's not. It's a nice thing to know. Like, even just being unreasonable, there's a lot of people that are, the complete, like you said, just like there's the radical left and the radical right. And I feel like a lot, and I've said this before, but I feel like there are a majority of people out there that ride somewhere in the middle, right?
Absolutely.
They see both sides of the argument, and they, you know, don't necessarily pick a side. And if they have to, they pick, you know, whatever side that they so choose. But like,
right. Hold on, I'm gonna let my dog in. Hold on.
No problem. Your dog.
Banging on my door. What up, son? Look at this guy. Can you see him? Come here. Come here.
Oh!
Oh, look at that guy.
Oh my goodness.
His name's Simba because he's like a lion.
Simba's adorable.
But he's a chunky monkey.
God.
Though. He's about.
I was just gonna say.
About 5 pounds overweight. He had the COVID 5, right? Like he put on the little COVID. The doctor was like, he's gonna take him in because he hurt his foot, and we were like,
oh, he's like, you need to put him on a diet.
Like he's big. I was like, you think?
How much does he weigh?
Around the backyard. He's about 16 pounds.
Oh,
he's supposed to be probably around 12. You know, he's been about 14 his whole life, but like, well, since he was a baby, but now,
oh my God!
Funky, but I ran him around today, so he's good, huh? All right, buddy, you gotta go. I gotta finish. All right, but you're gonna be a part of this podcast. You're gonna be famous. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, so I'm like you. I ride in the middle a lot because I've always been there. I'm a registered independent. I ride in the middle because I don't necessarily agree with either party, and I'm not a politician. I don't do politics really, but if I had to just do with like values and this and that and the other,
yeah,
I'm one not to judge. I'm one to say this about one thing and that about the other. I'm not hardcore like a lot of people are, and Facebook has just and Instagram have all become this rant about, you know, oh well, you guys, I love this. My favorite is "Wake up, America." That's the one line I go, this is the retardedest line I've ever heard in my life. The other one is, you know, "Do your research." And I laugh because I'm like, everybody has access to the same exact information. It's not like you're getting the one because you're a little bit better at Google. You got the one article that you choose to believe because you choose to believe it.
I still feel like no one's doing their research though.
Nobody's doing. The problem
they're reading an Instagram post.
But even if you do research, now if you research something and that research was only partially true in the first place, you're just researching stuff that's partially true and partially not.
Yeah, so, Wikipedia doesn't count.
Wikipedia doesn't count because you got one article that says that. I love how they tried to discredit George Floyd, and I go, because I was a whole group of white people that were like friends of one of my friends. It was high school people, and all they were saying is George Floyd's not a hero. And I wrote on their Facebook, I go, nobody said George Floyd was a hero. Black people don't say George Floyd is a hero.
Yeah,
he is a symbol of a greater picture that's been a problem in this country, and he just happens to be the guy. If his name was Frank something, we would be saying Frank something.
Yeah,
but it's not about George Floyd in general. He just happens to be the face that started this movement. Because that's it. Right. But they don't want to see that. All they see is why we're making. He beat up some woman when he was in high school and this and that and the other. And I'm like, man, let me tell you something. Most of the people who are bitching have skeletons in their closet. Everybody's got the skeleton in their closet.
Everyone does. Yeah, everybody does.
Everybody wants to be this and that and the other. I go, you know what? So I stopped doing that with most people. I go, I don't.
You have to. You can't. I've seen so many people say that they've gotten into arguments with people on social media about like political or, you know, any other kind of controversial issue. And it's like, there's no point. You're not going to change their mind. If they're that dead set on how they feel and what their opinion is, it's very unlike. I mean, you can try with reason. Half the time, the people that are, you know, chiming in on social media are not the ones that are trying to have a rational conversation.
No, everybody just like, I just post stuff that's all about like, everybody be happy or everybody should love each other. Everybody, because I'm like, what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, when I get up, and this is what I tell everybody, when I get up in the morning, I don't feel a certain kind of way about anybody.
Right.
No one is going to affect my day.
Yeah.
Because something else is being tossed in the wind somewhere and everybody chooses to ride that train. I just don't. I just get up and grind because that's what I got to do. You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a weird, hold on. I'm just going to fix this light really quick. What kind of Truly did you get?
I got a strawberry lemonade right now.
Oh, nice.
Strawberry lemonade. And then
I can't find a strawberry lemonade anywhere.
Well, there's a Truly pack that's all lemonades, but it's like strawberry lemonade, mango lemonade, lemonade. Truly is Truly. Because I've tried some of the other ones, not a fan. So I started with the White Claw. White Claw was okay. Truly, I was like, oh, I really like that. And then I got the Bud Light ones. I don't really care for those. And there's one called
Everybody's making a seltzer right now.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's because the problem is like, it's only, 5% alcohol in these things?
Yeah, they're not,
There's nothing really in it. But the problem is that you can drink the whole damn pack because they're small, like Red Bulls, and because there's not a lot of alcohol.
You
so
can
you're
chug
not
them.
really anything. You're just like, but I guess you lose them if you don't want. Wait, where's that dog? Oh, he's over there. Anyway, let's get out of this for a second. We can come back to that all day. But
yeah, right.
About the baseball because of the I know you said you guys don't do cardboard cutouts. I saw cardboard cutouts at another game or Dodger game, right? And then
I think
the person had the guy from Weekend at Bernie's as his cardboard.
I saw that. They've been getting pretty creative with the cutouts. We don't do it. I don't remember the reasoning as to why, but everybody kind of hopped on board. It's a cool idea, and like, you know, I know at the Dodgers and a couple other teams, if like a foul ball hits your cutout, you'll get like a prize, or you get the baseball. So they're making it fun in the best way that they can right now.
And they pay for the cardboard cutout. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, they're only like 100 and I mean, it's not, you know, it's more expensive than a ticket to the game, but it's a fun way to.
They don't have the luxury of, because baseball is an open stadium, but they don't have the luxury of like what hockey, or basically what basketball is doing, right? Is they have the LCD screens on both sides of the thing, and they're actually people watching, their season ticket holders watching the game from home, but we can see them. So
yeah, that's cool.
So, and to even make it even better is that I was watching America's Got Talent, because they're actually in a production house. The whole entire wall behind the judges are people, LCD screens, and they're live shooting them in there. So their audience is live, but they're just on screens at home.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, okay, please don't tell me that's going to be normal, because I'm like,
no, I hope not, but it seems that way.
I don't want to like watch, you know, at home. You watch the game at home already.
Yeah, right?
Especially, so why do I feel special because I'm on the screen out the game? I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it.
At least with baseball, you know, it's all about the experience, I feel like, with that one, right? Like it's a you're going to the game, you're gonna have a hot dog, and go have a beer, you know, have some conversations.
Yes.
But otherwise you're not like, unless you're at really good seats, it's hard to see like the action, you know, the close up action.
Being in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, I go to baseball games half the time I'm at the bar, but like I just like
me too.
You hear the crowd roar and you see what's going on, and there's all kinds of stuff. That's the reason you go.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you go for the live action, which is funny. It's funny to hear the fake fan noise in the stadium. It's They started it with soccer, and what was even funnier was that with a specific game I was watching, they took the audience feed from a prior game between those two teams. And so anytime one of those teams scored, they would like play them cheering, you know. It's crazy that we've, you know, gotten to the point where that's what we've gotten to.
Had no choice, really. I mean, that's the scary part. You didn't have the choice. We're like, you're just in this thing.
Everybody thought we were going to be done in like July, and we are.
Now we're talking about most schools aren't opening until 2021. Like these colleges.
Like, most businesses aren't reopening until 2021.
If they're some of them just got shut down. I mean, like they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what are we going to do if you're, you know, in an industry that, you know, prays like you need that. You need people.
A lot of productions too.
And, you know, like I said, with the vaccine thing, I go, so let's say tomorrow they're like, oh, we have a vaccine. Cool. What does that mean? I guess if you want a vaccine, it's good for you. If everybody else, we're like, okay, cool. So what's crazy about having a vaccine is you can have a vaccine, right? But you could still be a carrier. So what is the difference? You know what I mean? I guess it stops you from getting COVID, but you could still carry COVID and get a vaccine, right?
Yeah. The part where I go, then what? Right. So we have a vaccine, and like, for me, based on what I do, I think about like, okay, does that mean you're going to require, like, our employers going to be able to require their employees
That's
to get the vaccine in order to come back to work? Like, where do we get to a point where we're going to be and feel safe?
Right.
Where are employees going to feel comfortable enough to feel safe to come back to work? And how do, the employers ensure it, and B, like, not let it spread, like, and how there's, that's an issue.
It's the same with
far down the line I haven't even dealt with yet, but
every virus has that same makeup, right?
Yeah, I remember being around for H1N1, swine flu.
Right, swine flu, contagious.
It was all
contagious. They're all contagious.
Yeah.
Even now, but no one, you know what I mean? So if you go to work, right, and you're not supposed to go work when you're sick, and you call and go, I'm sick. People go, are you really sick? Or before COVID, are you really sick? Or are you just trying to take the day off? You go to work and you're a little sick, and then you get the flu a few days later, if that's you, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop business. You know what I mean? It doesn't stop business. And it shouldn't, in my opinion. I don't think it should stop. Now, don't get me wrong. People, if you already have a complication and this particular strain of this virus is going to attack you in a way that will kill you, then for you, this is seriously scary, right?
Yeah.
But then you should be at home, right?
What's scary about all of this is just the unknown, right? Like,
it's always unknown.
Yeah, that's true.
I just feel like because they tell us, right?
But why this one? Like, and I'm constantly trying to find an answer, and it's always changing.
The problem is probably not an answer. Here's a funny thing that I've found about just this virus in general. We get an expert, and then we discredit the expert because the president says so, right?
Yeah.
So now we don't agree with him because now everybody thinks he's working with the Democrats to create this fear-mongering thing so that someone on the other side is making a shitload of money. What they don't understand is that if you're in the uber billionaires club, because see, people forget in the lineage of billionaires, Donald Trump's like 100. I mean, Mark Cuban alone has twice that money. So does Steve Wynn. They all got way more money. Zuckerberg, they all got way more money. So if you're in that realm of billionaires, right, everybody else below you can just do stuff. Like, you're going to get stuff that nobody can get. You're going to get vaccines or cures that they probably already have, right? Everybody else goes, okay, well, we have to listen to the CDC. Why? Because that's what they tell us. But the people at CDC are experts, right? But if an expert at the CDC agrees with Fauci, they discredit the expert.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at news people and journalists on all sides telling us that these journalists aren't credible, even though that they're experts in their field. You know what I mean? So I go, where does it stop? Because it's easy to tell people, oh, well, the CDC says this. Well, but now I'm just going to use Trump as an example, just because that's what it was on TV. So Trump says, I don't really want to wear a mask, and he's not sick. So if I'm a Trump follower, you're going to do what he does. You can't blame them for doing what their leader does, because that's who they follow.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear a mask. Why do we need to wear a mask?
Mm-hmm.
But then people are still transmitting a disease. This one just happens to be a little bit more deadly in certain areas because of people who have a condition that can't handle it. So it still hasn't killed as many people as some of the other things, right? But that's all we talk about. So we're like, COVID. People died of cancer. I know people who were in there for leukemia and they died, and then they said it was COVID because maybe COVID was the icing on the cake, but that's not what killed that person. Leukemia was killing them already.
My grandfather had it, and he passed away in May.
Wow.
And now, mind you, he had it, recovered, but he was 91. He had already had some lung issues and had pneumonia a couple times. Like, he was 91.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. I can't confirm it because I don't know for certain. I would not be surprised if they labeled it a COVID death.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know people in the hospital.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Everybody's got their stories. Yeah. Everybody's got stories of how they count. I know people who were standing in line for a COVID test, decided I don't want to wait any longer, went home, and then 2 days later got a phone call that says they tested positive and they never took the test. Right.
Seriously?
And I thought it was only here. And then I saw it on the news with some other people had the same issue. They're like, I have friends who went, they never even had a COVID test, and they're calling them, telling them they got a positive COVID test, and they never took the test. COVID pays like chemo pays. You know what I mean?
That's the other thing too. People are getting benefits for it, right. And for the higher number, which is, there's so much going on right now that I don't trust any of it.
Nope.
Like,
I don't trust anything.
Anything that anyone, like, you can't pull up Fox News or CNN or MSNBC without somebody having a belief system, and it's driving it on, I feel like, an extreme left or extreme right. And it's just like, why?
They need a third party. The problem is that people believe that the only third party is...
We're months out from election.
Yeah, or they're like, oh, you're socialist, you're this, that, and the other. And I'm like, we said that. But what we do need is peace, right? If God forbid we have something in the middle, you know what I mean? That we can call whatever party, hey, look, it's about unity. We don't have to agree.
Yeah.
People are like willing to kill for it. Like, it's stupid. You're like, okay, for what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the whole thing, like, you know.
For what?
And really, like, I don't care if it's a statue. I don't care if it's any of that stuff. Like, do I think people should tear down statues? I didn't care about the statue before. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to put the statue in a museum of tolerance and figure out why this should not be a symbol, this is why.
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea.
Their lineage, they want to hold on to their, you know, what they don't understand, especially like with, I got on this subject with Kaepernick, because people don't tell the story about the Marine who told Kaepernick to kneel because Kaepernick used to sit, right? So he used to sit. I don't know if you've never heard the story, but he used to sit. And then this Marine was extremely pissed off, so he wrote Kaepernick a letter. And then him and Kaepernick actually met face to face and like swapped reasons and stories. And he goes, look, if you kneel, we kneel at the gravesite of our fallen soldiers in every form of the military. You on one knee. That's what you do. Right? So if you kneel, you could respect the military and get your point across at the same time. But they never talk about that.
No.
A picture of Kaepernick with the Marine standing right. Kaepernick is kneeling.
I didn't know that.
Standing right next to him.
Was that in an article somewhere? I want to read that.
You can look it up on YouTube. Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
Just say Kaepernick and Marine.
Yeah, no, it's turned into just like everything else. It's turned into
patriotic and people, you know, and
a political issue.
And when you go back to like the race card, people understand. They're like, well, you know, my dad fought in World War II or World War I. I go, my father fought in Vietnam. My grandfather fought in World War II. My other great-grandfather fought in World War I. But when they came back from fighting for this country, they were told they couldn't drink out of the white drinking fountain.
Yeah.
They were told they couldn't eat there because they don't serve black people. So the experience is different. So stop telling me, well, my grandfather fought in the war. I said, my grandfather fought right alongside your grandfather. But my grandfather got no respect when he came back, and he did the exact same thing your grandfather.
Yeah.
So when what happens is people don't want to let go of the truth that they believe, you know, because they were taught whatever. So their belief system says, wait a minute, I have to question everything that I know.
Right.
Kinda. I mean, we learned about this much of Pacifica, like in West Garden Grove, about history in high school, about this paragraph. They get to college.
Yeah, it's always like a week of the semester, right? It's never like a couple. It's usually like we're going to talk about it as one subject, right? You know, and
they don't tell you all the real stuff. They don't tell you they slaughtered the Indians. They said we found this land and we planted a flag. But when I grew up, at least, I'm older than you, so Indians were considered savages when I was a kid. That's how they talked about them. Oh, they're savages with bows and arrows. But they were just fighting people off the land they were already living on.
Isn't it funny how textbooks can completely shape your outlook on life?
Absolutely.
It's insane.
Or a newspaper used to be factual because it was print, right? If you print anything, it has to be true. It doesn't. Just like anything, you can say whatever. So when people give me like, oh, well, this statistic came from the Los Angeles Police Department. And I was like, you know, I can find another statistic from the same police department to rebuttal what you just said, because that would be the agenda that I'm pushing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you find
I do feel like newspapers back in the day
were real.
Were a lot more factual. Just
I believe that too.
You know, now we have like, I can't read even like, I really like TMZ articles that I didn't think were gonna, like, they usually are really good about being objective. And lately I've noticed some undertones, and I've just been like, oh, okay, all right. Like,
somebody's leaning on Harvey.
Not that it's a problem, but like, I didn't know. I thought they usually just stick to the facts, and I feel like there's been a little, opinions left and right here and there, and I'm like, okay.
So,
and I love TMZ.
It was a facade in the first place. I mean, don't get me wrong; they were actually closer to a factual news source than some of the news sources at one point.
TMZ,
right?
Okay. 100% agree.
You know what I mean? They were like, okay, they're way more on
their vetting process of making sure how they, before they post made me 100% a fan. Yeah. I
like
Harvey's
some good people like Nathan and some of those people who were like really, really did good journalism work and courses, things like that. But it would be funny to me because I'm like, I said, somebody's publicist all day is calling Harvey and their people going, Samuel Jackson's getting off the plane at 10:30 out of LAX. I was like, I said, there's no way possible that there's a cameraman just parked outside of LAX in any random terminal and happened to catch celebrities all the time. That's not how it works. If you're not in the entertainment business, you don't know that, right? We know that because we've been in entertainment. We know damn well somebody's publicist said, hey, Brandy's coming out. She's going to be in this restaurant, Fogo de Chao, whatever. Right. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, look, we found Brandy. You're like, yeah, fine, Brandy. Right.
I have noticed a couple of freelance photographers, like outside of, the trendy places in LA and sometimes at the airport, but like you'll see one or two. You don't see the barrage of.
Now, photographers, if you're paparazzi, you get tip-offs a lot. So a lot of times you're just waiting, like, oh, we heard Kim Kardashian is going to Rodeo Drive, and everybody bolts down there trying to catch her. Those people are hustling because they're just trying to get photos,
so they can sell them.
But the other ones are like interviews. You know what I mean? They're like, they got a microphone, and they're like, oh, hey, they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Blah blah blah. Here comes Justin Bieber or whatever. You're like, come on now,
Which there's one thing to be thankful for, I guess, if you're a celebrity with COVID, which is stay 6 feet away.
Yeah.
Right?
Is any celebrity besides Tom Hanks?
No rights of privacy beforehand, but now it's going to be like you have to stay arm's distance, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Justify them being assholes, right? Like, or before. I mean, some of them you get it, but like
that's sad.
Outside of Tom Hanks and Idris Elba, right? Is there any other celebrity that got COVID besides those two?
A lot of them. Well, not a lot.
Not DL Hughley. He just got sick. It wasn't COVID.
Yeah, he just fainted. I think.
Just fainted. It's exhaustion. I think.
From what? Was he working?
Sleep. Are you kidding? He doesn't sleep between his podcast. Radio, podcast, stand up. He's doing a lot. He's one of those guys that
poor guy.
Always running on like an hour, 2 hours of sleep. So it just caught up to him.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That happens. I've seen people like that. They sleep like this much. They're just like, I don't got time to sleep.
They just go.
Yeah, but there's some days you get take days off, your body will shut down for you. That's what happened. He was in a chair, and all of a sudden he's like, and then one of his guys like ran up there and caught him before he fell off the stool.
It's so bad.
So how's law? You're a full blown lawyer. How's that? I mean, I know you work for the Angels, right? But I mean,
Angels. Right now, probably, I'm busier than I've ever been. Everything. I mean, once COVID hit, everything changed. We're now just focusing on pretty much just picking up the pieces from what happened to not having a baseball season for 2020, and it's I didn't realize how big of a deal shutting down everything for a couple of months was gonna be. We're doing go ahead.
Just the food and beverage department. F&B at a stadium on a given baseball game.
Wait, say that one more time.
Food and beverage department alone at a baseball game.
We have a concessionaire, so it's third party that we work with. But they essentially can't, I mean, they're not producing anything right now because we don't have fans in the stands. So it's unfortunate. I mean, it sucks. But at the same time, if fans were allowed, I can't imagine that there would be, I would like to think that there would be a huge turnout because people have been inside, but you wonder because people have lost their jobs and a lot of people are unemployed. Like, would they pay for a ticket? You know,
they probably would. And
which is nice.
Baseball is still entertaining. Like, people are gonna get out. They want to get out, so they're gonna go. They're gonna take the money they do have and go to a game and go to a movie or a liquor store or whatever, right?
Man, I would love to go to a movie.
You know what I mean? Like it, but you can now a movie. They can do what they're doing now. They could space it out because there's no difference.
But all the movie theaters have been shut down. They were told that all indoor operations in California are not allowed to be operating right now.
But here, I don't think the movie theaters are open. But what is popular is drive-in movies, right? Because but see, what's crazy is the drive-in movie is no difference if, well, I guess it'd be hard to police it because you'd have to have someone in there making sure, right? Because it's dark, you never know. But like at a drive-in, what they do is you drive in and you're like your little carport, but people pull out lawn chairs and like have a little mini party in their space, and they're only 6 feet away from the other space of the other 8 people who got out of that car. Right. So you're only social distancing from the masses, but not really within your group. So it's the same thing with tables. Like, oh, okay, don't serve this table, but serve that table. Yesterday we went to a local casino, and it was like they made these new games that are around in a circle, so you can sit right next to the person because there's technically.
So I did go to Vegas when everything started kind of reopening. Okay. And Vegas first reopened. Nothing was open, but like a couple of restaurants, and they had every other. And I also went to get a feel for how they did everything because, you know, I work in, you know, this business where we're trying to have games, and you know, my boss and I have been working very hard on coming up with these policies to, like, you know. Make sure that we can have games and make sure that it's, you know, all safe and everybody feels comfortable and we do this right, because, you know, the part where you get slipped up and the part where you start to see spread is just stuff regulation. It's just people not wanting to follow the, like, just basic, like, wash your hands. Like, I've seen everybody abolish, like, basic hygiene. Not everybody, but, like, just little things, right? Like, somebody goes to, like, touch a railing and then touches their face, and you're like, those as a baseline should be, like, in your repertoire of things now. Like, just wash your hands, carry hand sanitizer. I was never a germaphobe. I've always been just filthy. Like, I just have never been one to care about, like, I'm like, if I get something, I get something. Like, it's just, I've always been that way. JJ, who you know, my younger brother, the worst germaphobe. Like, he used to get calluses on his hands from washing his hands so much. Ooh. And I never understood it. And then, like, with all of this and, like, all the graphs that have been coming out, and, like, you know, how I've always known that I've gotten sick every time I've traveled. I don't know if it was the same. You've traveled probably a lot more than I have, but, like, I have always noticed, and I travel a lot for work. Right. Every time I get on a plane, I feel like I come back with something. And I think I got COVID in March.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get really sick at home?
Yes. Well, I came back. Do you remember Ashley Meyer?
I don't know. Sounds
familiar. She was my best friend in high school. Anyway, she got married. She lives in New Orleans. Okay. She got married late February, early March. Uh-huh. I went because I was the maid of honor. I went on Fat Tuesday. I was gonna say, New Orleans, which was a hot spot right when it hit. So I went for Mardi Gras and spent a week there. And then when I came back, literally within not even 12 hours, I want to say I landed.
You get it from the plane, though. You got it from from being at Bourbon Street.
I either got it because they said the incubation period is like 2 to 14 days. So I either got it on the plane there, or I got it at the bar. And me and my girlfriend went, and we wore masks because it was all hitting.
Right.
Going there, but and I was trying to be really good with my washing my hands and not, but when you're drunk, you're like, it's so easy to wash your nose or times. You're like, and I know people that have been wearing masks that have gotten this, so it's way easier to get than just avoiding touching stuff. And I'm sure the bartenders, no one was wearing a mask in literally the video that I got of 3 second line, second lines going with a base,
But even a mask, is it the last line of defense? You know what I mean? Is the mask the cure?
No, but I think, we can't even follow that rule, and that seems to be pretty easy,
Yeah, you think? Yeah, nobody wants to follow rules.
How if this is the basic one, but people think they have their rights, and sure, I guess, and maybe I'm ignorant in this, but my confusion was okay, but that red light is right there, and you stop because the state of California tells you to do so.
Right.
Why is this any different? And why aren't you complaining about just run the red light?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, certain laws people want, because you can't have a society without laws. Otherwise, it would just be anarchy anyway, right? But people want to pick and choose sometimes which laws they agree with and which laws they feel like somebody's taking away their freedom, right? So then you get into that debate with people. It's like, oh, the government's telling us what to do. I said, look, I love when people separate the White House, no matter who's in office, from the government, like they're 2 separate entities.
Yeah.
I was like, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
But people go out, but a lot of people just don't want to feel like they're being controlled. And for a lot of people, that's what the mask is. You're trying to control me. And what they're looking at is what comes next. What else are you going to tell me? Are we going to start to go into a Sharia law type mentality where we can tell you this, and if you don't do that, we can also do this, but this thing should be a choice, right? Now, it's not as big of an art. This dog, get away. Hold on. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? Get out of that backpack.
They can do that. I mean, realistically, if they wanted to do that, they can.
They can.
I mean,
with certain things.
We
but
can.
I mean, where does the rule stop?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think because we have rights, we have the right to bear arms, we have the right to this, we have the right to that.
Well, if we go into
we don't have a right to anymore.
Yeah, I think if we go into, I don't know though, it's scary because we were going into July and August, right. And now we're canceling Halloween. But I truly think,
how do you cancel Halloween?
I don't know.
People are still gonna dress up. It's just now that when you wear a mask, it's normal.
Right? My plan is to dress up as Joe Exotic.
There you go.
That's my costume this year.
That was crazy.
I'm so excited about it, by the way. Yeah. Everybody's going to be Joe Exotic, but it's not like I have to go anywhere. Oh, yeah. I truly think people are going to be like, all right, this is enough if we go into the start of the year. I think you're going to see a problem if we go to 2020, 2021. If you get to New Year's, I think you're going to see a lot of people get upset. And I think that's going to be where unrest is going to happen.
I think, I also think
myself, how long can we do
the only election that I ever felt like unrest is inevitable no matter who wins.
Oh, 100%.
It doesn't matter. If we 100%. Get Trump 4 more years, people will be pissed. If Biden gets in, people will be pissed.
I feel like it's just, at least more recently, even with Obama being in office, you still heard it for the 4 years because you have the initial voting period in November where everybody's trying to get amped up for the election. Yeah. Then it's the results of the election, which you don't stop hearing about for another year and what they're going to do over the next 4 years.
Right.
And then there's like a little break of like maybe a year, but even like not really. I feel like in the last 4 years,
see, that's okay. But when it gets quiet, what happens? Every time it gets quiet,
people don't like the quiet.
There is an active shooter somewhere. There's like some crazy thing that always happens when it gets quiet.
Always, yeah.
I don't know if that's coincidence or not, but like that's usually what happens.
Well, but I mean, news can't be on 8 hours a day without having stuff to talk about. So like, why not be like, oh, we have, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean you can create news. You know what I mean?
Even now, we're stuck at home for the what week in a row. I feel like they're making stuff up now on the news.
Oh yeah,
they're making like these stories, and you're like, you guys really have nothing more to talk about because no one's doing anything.
No, they're reaching. They're trying to figure out. Okay, we need some turmoil. We need some this. Hey, do not eat the cord, buddy. This dog is going to electrocute himself. But yeah, so I mean it's just nuts. Like I said, I just kind of like every day I go, what else can I do? Because like broadcasting for me will never go away. So it's an area that I can thrive in, that I don't need to be in front of most people. You can just be like this, or I can be in a room with a podcast and another guy to host, somebody working the TriCast board or whatever, or radio, and you can do that, and that will never go away. Because that's why social media is big, right? Because people are like, oh, I'm just gonna go home and film myself. You've been on social media a lot, by the way.
I have been. Quarantine caused me to do
like
it.
On it, but like TikTok and all that stuff has been big for a lot of people. That's an outlet, and it's actually done a lot of good that people don't really know about. Like women who used to be fat shamed all the time that do stuff on TikTok feel great about themselves now because
but that's after somebody like threw a fit. And
is that what happened?
The app of only showing pretty people on their For You page, so their algorithm changed. But a little bit though, even then, I still only see certain types of people
that are like.
It's interesting. I've paid a lot of attention to all of those apps over time.
Yeah.
And this one by far, in my experience, just because I played around with it a lot, like quarantine hit, I was so against TikTok for the longest time. I was like, I refuse.
This is a child's game.
So
yeah.
Stupid. These stupid dances. I didn't get it. And then, and I downloaded the app, but I didn't understand it. And then COVID hit, and I was like, I might as well see what it's about. I'm bored.
Right.
It is such a well done app. It is just first of all, it is addicting.
Yeah.
I can find myself, it's sad. And I don't, whatever they put in that app is unbelievable. You can literally get stuck. It was like the old days of YouTube when you would get stuck going down that rabbit hole and be stuck 8 hours later going, what was I doing?
Right.
It is, I don't know. It's just well done. And the way that they do it is, I feel like maybe I joined every app at its late stage where you couldn't really, get a good following. And I also wasn't very consistent among all of them. And then I did this during quarantine, and I made a commitment to myself that I would at least post once a day and give it a good faith effort, since I was working, but other than that, in my free time, I had nothing else to do.
Right.
And I was like, I might as well try to understand this. So I've always been late to Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and it, to not get a good understanding of how their stuff work. But the way TikTok works is just, it gives everybody an opportunity to be pushed forward. Now sometimes it's totally circumstantial. It's time of day, lighting. It's a toss up, but your chances, in my opinion, are far more likely on TikTok than any other app to get, discovered on. Now, TikTok will probably get to a point, and I feel like it's starting to get to a point now where with YouTube and Instagram, they changed their algorithm to make it more small creator friendly, but what it really did was just boost the super elite up to the top.
Yeah.
Right, with their consistent views, and gave everybody else like pennies in comparison.
Yeah,
and so
that's true.
I feel like TikTok now, because people start complaining and they're like, I'm not getting my stuff shown, like then they'll do it so that it's better for everybody. And so the only people that really end up benefiting are the people that already have large followings, and then the rest of them get like thrown into the wind. But TikTok,
there's other ones out now too that are like Triller was like another new one now.
And I downloaded Triller because I was like, TikTok's gonna go. Instagram Reels came out.
Reels. I have that on.
They came out. I feel like it was a, gunshot or, gut shot reaction to them hearing the news that TikTok was getting banned. So I think that honestly, it feels like they released their Reels early, because that app, like
but you can only
Reels
get it
feature sucks
inside of Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So it's still Instagram. It's like saying IGTV. Yeah, it's kind of its own platform, but you can only get it within the portal of Instagram. That's how you get it.
And you can only do 15 seconds.
Right.
Their effects
They're going back to the Vine days. Yeah.
They're all effects that you can get on Instagram. The thing that's cool about TikTok is their effects are so integrative.
Yeah.
And the song choices, like they kind of guide you, right?
Right.
Instead of you coming up with completely original content, if you're good at, say, dancing or say, acting or whatever, they give you the prompts and you just execute. Right. If you're good at that, right? Yeah. I've always been very good, especially with my busy schedule. I'm good at doing what you tell me to do. Right. It's always been a struggle for me. I'm an overthinker and an overachiever and a perfectionist. So for me to come here and create content that isn't just me being stupid or me dancing, it's so hard. So TikTok made it so easy for me to just be like, oh, that's a dance that's trending. I can do that in 2 seconds.
Exactly.
And half of them are like the whole throw it back phase. First of all, I was like, this is a thing? Okay,
oh, yeah.
I have to learn this. I didn't.
And it's crazy because the better you are, the worse your numbers are on TikTok, right? So I would do stuff and would get little.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? But then I would do just a little boppy thing that Twitch was doing, and that thing got 1,500 likes that day. But if I do something dope, it's nothing.
They don't like the professional dancers. And I've also noticed that TikTok does this with the higher quality videos. Uh-huh. They don't like the super high quality movie edited footage. They want to keep you
on your phone, right? Well, but your phone shoots in 4K.
In your bedroom doing a dance that you kind of made up and edited within the app, or a little bit. But once you get too high, they will not push your videos.
Yeah. That's weird.
Which is interesting because I think they just don't want the competition of the super skilled to just show up the app and then have them turn into YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's what Triller is going to end up being, because Triller, one of the buttons is make a movie, right? You do a video. So I think that's going to be the higher end platform.
Really?
I'm not sure.
Are there a lot of users on Triller?
Huh?
Are there a lot of users on Triller? I'm going to have to go in and try and play around with
there
it.
Are. I made Mackenzie Brooke. She's one of my students, but she's got 6.5. She's verified on every social platform, but she has 6.5 million on TikTok, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I work with her a lot, and her mom's get Triller. Triller's the newer one. And then they followed me on Triller because her following's already in 500,000.
Yeah.
Because everyone who knew her, whatever platform she goes to, she's going to have followers. So if you already 100%. Have millions of followers on Instagram, they're going to follow you to all your other platforms as well, just Twitter and you name it. So, but Triller looked like you can make, kind of movies. Let's look right now. Let's look at Triller. So Triller, but I haven't dissected it enough. I made a profile, but
I know I need to make a profile too.
So when you pull up Triller, and there's people dancing and doing weird stuff, and all the stuff is still.
It is so hard. To keep up with all of these social media apps.
But it says music video, right? So like this kid. So on one side it says music video, and the other side it says social. So this guy, it's like Steve Carell, right? And he's like doing a thing, and he's doing a reaction to it. So it's like a higher end. There's panning and all kinds of weird stuff happening. So like that's what I'm saying. I think these are like higher end videos.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's kind of cray.
I like Triller.
Yeah, I know. I was like, ooh.
I feel like TikTok might be more kid friendly, and Triller's a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think TikTok is funny because adults are on TikTok because it's just a social platform that has a lot of traffic. So then eventually everyone's going to be on there, right? But the kids are the ones like making the money. But like, unless you're Derulo or like all these guys that already got millions of people going to follow you no matter what, because you have that fan base. I know that
Derulo had a bunch of followers beforehand. I feel like TikTok restarted his career.
Maybe, but he's always been busy.
He's always been there. Like you've always known who he was.
Right.
I definitely he's got like 50 or 60 million followers on TikTok right now.
Oh yeah, it's stupid.
But
he's not dumb. He's not dumb. There's a bunch of dudes that are in his TikTok videos that were already TikTok famous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If Derulo calls you don't think you're going to his house? Of course you are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It benefit both of you.
Yeah. You know? He does make good TikToks though, and you can tell he puts time into them.
I mean, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's got TikTok.
So all of these like Bryce Hall, all of these TikTokers are on here.
They're on here. They're on Triller. They all have Trillers now. Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah. They've got Trillers, they got Byte.
That's where they all went.
What's the other one? I got Byte. Oh. Yeah.
I heard Dub Smash is a good one.
Dub Smash, and there's the one that Facebook put Zuckerberg put out one, right? I think it's called Lever or something.
Yeah, like that one was already put. I think. I don't know.
So that's another outlet that's going to happen. And then I feel like yeah.
Are you going to watch that fight?
Whose fight? Which fight? Mike Tyson?
Roy Jones Jr.?
Oh, hell yeah, I'm watching that fight. So funny story is Beth, every week the one of her clients is Performative Game Club. She's like the GM, right? So they host Shark Week. So Neil, her brother, runs a dive operation. So 2 years ago, they hosted Michael Phelps, swimming with the sharks in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Last year it was
I remember watching that one. That was fun to watch.
Right? And then last year they hosted Shaq, but he's on the
did they do the one with him fighting the shark?
Yeah. You were like, yeah, okay. Then this year, Mike Tyson.
That's awesome.
I was like, damn. I haven't watched it.
So was it a real shark? Is it aired yet?
Oh, it just aired, but I missed it, so I'm gonna go find it and watch it. It aired this past weekend. Yeah.
Was it like an animatronic shark?
No, real sharks. He's diving with real sharks because
I love that.
Brother is the shark dive master. So like, people pay a lot of money to just dive with the sharks, hammerheads, you name it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were diving with real sharks. All those celebrities, real sharks. Now, when they were saying that Michael Phelps was gonna swim against the shark, that was just a bunch of BS. I'm like, you can't outrun a shark in the water. I don't care what kind of swimmer you are. Right? Like, it's like asking the shark to run on land and see who's faster.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to happen. So, but it's interesting because I was like, I want to go watch, just see him just get in the water and be like, it's Mike Tyson. Probably like,
he looks good.
Dude,
he looks good. He said he had like some kind of, I don't know if he took something. I think he said he took, was it DMT? And he had like he's had a couple of like awakening moments. I feel like that guy.
Yeah.
But he said he took like DMT and he's like a completely different person. I don't know. I like rebirth.
People get reborn all the time. They go, oh, now I'm like Madonna. She's always like, oh, now I'm into this. Now I'm into that. I'm into crystals. Now I'm into, you know what I mean, and chakra and whatever else it is.
I'll never understand crystals or chakra.
I'm not saying I'm the same way, but I'm like, let people go do their thing.
Yeah, all you.
Chakra. It's all good. I'm like, I don't do any of that. I don't do any, I've never been that way because I always feel like you're just following somebody else, and I've never been that way. We're like, oh, everyone's going over there, and I'm like, well, then I'm gonna go over there because I just don't want to follow people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm not that type, which is why I'm an independent, and this is why like I question everything because I don't really care what everybody says. I mean, I got friends who I know and trust that say things to me, and I'm always like, But that's what you.
I'm the exact same way. I will never, and it's part of the reason why I never stick to like, I will never give you, this is how I feel or what I believe, especially in regards to politics, because I just don't trust anybody. And like, until I read the source myself, I'm not going to believe anything you say. And until you show it to me, I'm not going to believe anything you say, because how do I know that what you got was from a credible source, wasn't something that was backed by some kind of motive? I'm always
that's
that
the
way.
part now that's tough on everybody. Because everybody believes that everybody has a motive.
And no one will ever, still to this day, when I like want to get into, if I like get into a conversation with somebody and I go, where did you get that? Can you please pull it up? I will always lose the conversation. Like the conversation will be done because they never pull it up. And I go, until you pull it up, I'm not going to have this conversation, because I can pull up those facts all day. I'm ready for that conversation, but no one ever wants to. So it's like,
because they don't know. They're just running with the sheep. It's like, that's why, because Jordan Klepper is a guy who works for Trevor Noah, right?
Yeah.
Go to like the Trump rallies and just ask people stuff, because some people just are raw about their team. And you could do that at a Biden rally in reverse, right? So he goes to the Trump rally and he's like, to this lady, what's important to you? He's like, it's important that you read the transcripts. It's like, oh, so it's important that everybody reads the transcripts. She goes, yeah, because it's in the transcripts. He's like, have you read the transcripts? Well, I haven't read the transcripts. So you haven't read the transcripts? No, you haven't read the transcripts. But it's important that everybody reads the transcripts. Right. But you just said, okay, so, but you didn't read the transcripts. Right. He goes, where do you get your facts? She goes, Twitter. Right. I was like, so you didn't read anything, but you're saying that it's important for everybody to read it, but you're just following, right? That's what people do. Oh, I read this. Okay, so you read one article, you read one instance. My favorite one is like you try to discredit what's going on in the world by pulling up your one factual thing. How come nobody talked about the black cop who choked the black kid? I go, first of all, it's not the bigger story. Second of all, that black kid is still alive.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing about everybody, you know, on that Tuesday or whatever, posting black squares. And my first response was, who's telling us that we need to that we're all going to collectively post the black squares? And I found out it was like the music industry and like record labels. And I was like, okay, but you're telling me they don't have a motive? Why are we just agreeing to do this as part? But people want to, people feel like that's, and then the more people you get, the more people they feel like, you know, that legitimately want to do something and feel like they can, you know, whatever it is, whether it be a message on social media or whatever, feel like, okay, this is what I can do. But then you just have a bunch of people doing the same thing, and all it ended up doing was like hurting, you know, the legitimacy of messages of people trying to like educate, right? Because then it became an issue of like, guys, don't use this with this hashtag, then you're hindering, like,
that's everybody is doing what they're telling other people not to do.
It's like with this it's like with this Lebanon thing that happened last week, you know, and I mean, you know, my family,
Lebanese,
like,
right?
I'm 100%.
Right.
Somebody was like, you can't be 100% anything. I was like, well, I know both of my parents and their grandparents and their great grandparents came from Lebanon. So that's all I know.
Right.
But yeah, part of the thing that like really kind of upset me about that was people's ease to take advantage of that for a social media situation, not because they legitimately felt bad. Because my first response was, the Lebanese government has been corrupt for years. Like, this isn't news. Like, why are we now deciding that it took this? And I get it. A bunch of people died. A bunch of people got hurt. But like, and second of all, like, why does anybody that's like didn't care about that issue before care now?
Because now it's trendy.
But I've seen so many people like put it on their hashtags and like make a post about it, and it just angers me, because you're like, are you really for that issue, or are you just doing it because you know that hashtag is trending? And it's like, see, that's the same. It's a country that, like, you know, it's the size of.
That's the problem with social. That's the problem with social media, right? But the problem with social media is that we reward people. We've been rewarding people doing things that shouldn't be rewarded for.
Yeah.
Right? People are like, how they were famous? Is it because we told them they were? Because we rewarded that person who had more followers by all of a sudden Nike's calling and saying, hey, wear this shoe, we'll give you $1,000. Whatever it is, they're being rewarded for it. So now people know. So there were people during the protest that would like get out of an Uber and take a picture with a guy putting up wood panelings on his store so it doesn't get looted.
Oh my God, I saw
and then get back in the Uber and bounce. You're like, what? Right?
I wanted, like, there was a girl with the screw, and then there was a girl in front of a broken down like T-Mobile store, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
No.
Like, and how did you not think that somebody was going to be like, look at what this idiot is doing?
Right.
You know, the fact that the one was drilling the screw in and then handed it back, I was like.
And there were a lot of those.
But that's what we've come to, is everybody does what they do in life for clout. And
and between the clout and the cancel culture, it's convoluted crap. It's just everyone wants to cancel everybody. You are guilty first all the time. Oh,
there is no more due process.
A pedophile now.
Well, I changed my mind. There is due process because luckily we still have a justice system. But
no, there is. But what I'm saying is
people are getting fired for.
They will crucify you in social media. I felt bad. So when they were doing that thing with Kavanaugh, I didn't care one way or the other about Kavanaugh. I don't know.
High school yearbook, and you're like, wait a minute.
And I'm going, we're going back into 30 years ago and trying to persecute him today for a movement that didn't exist. And B, back then, okay, if that's the case, every man I know should be in jail. Because when you like pinch a butt or an ass or whatever, you should just do that because that's what you do. It's like a cat and mouse game. We weren't trying to be predators. And how you knew you took it too far, you got slapped. Boom. And then that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We didn't cancel people or try to take away everything they own and get death threats because of some shit.
Well, you don't learn from that anyway. All those,
You know, every frat party.
I got to think about what I wrote in everybody's yearbooks years ago. I was like, does that mean I can never run for Supreme Court justice? Not that I think I ever would, but.
Okay, let's be honest. Anybody under Trump's age, right?
Yeah.
Got way more skeletons than the people who came before him.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have all that. I mean, we went from acid dropping 60s to the 70s to the 80s to 90s. It got worse and worse. The Harveys and all that other stuff was already happening, right? So so the generations of that and having clout for no reason, you know what I mean? But now it's become like.
What do you think about that?
About which part?
What do you think about all these people in the entertainment industry right now going down for being what you and I know have always been
divas?
The entertainment industry.
Okay. Now, if you're a predator, that's one thing, right? If you use your power, and don't get me wrong, it goes both ways. I also know women who took full advantage of the fact that they knew if they slept with that dude, they'd get a role, and they did that on purpose.
100%.
Why they hang out where the coaches hang out in the NFL, not where the fans are, right? So we get that, you know. Now, for instance, Ellen, right? Is she a tyrant backstage? Honestly, I just don't give a fuck because I'm like, it's her show, whatever. Maybe she's an asshole boss, but if you want to work for her, you know, that's on you. Now, if it became something that was like, look, if the girl says, she said some racist things to the girl and the girl says, I'm going to leave and I'm going to sue you for whatever, then that's one thing because people can get taken down for that shit. But we're painting the picture like she was evil. And I go, I don't know. She could be just as bad as Kevin Spacey.
I got to read,
You know what I mean? Or she could be just as bad. And it was funny because they were going to say they were going to.
There's too many tweets to keep up to know what's true and what's not.
Well, and plus,
to find like what legitimate, where these accusations came from,
right? Like
where to find the source. First of all, takes a little bit.
Always tries to take down the dude at the top, right? Isn't that kind of how it always is? That's why, like, you can be LeBron and you can be Kobe, and someone's gonna be like, he sucks.
Until they find something.
Yeah, it's just.
And they're the first people to knock you down.
Now, I know people got shitty bosses. People got shitty bosses.
Remember Britney being at the top?
Right.
And then when she went crazy and then married, everyone was so fast to just shred her down. And now, like, look at this. Now we're trying to save her.
Right.
You're like, where did you think that stemmed from?
I'm like, look, there are people. Now I've come into contact with people like that, you know, and I dealt with them how I dealt with them. It was up to me to go, I don't give a shit what this person thinks about me, or I'm willing to lose the job, right? Because bosses can be assholes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know that. You people get clout. People treat them differently, so they feel like everybody else is a minion, and they act accordingly. That happens a lot in every facet of life, not just the entertainment business. Is that entertainment is what's out in the open and what people see on their TV and their phone. So we can go, because I was told horror stories about Diana Ross. Oh, she's like this, and she's like that, and you got to watch out. Because I was doing
really.
But to me personally, one of the sweetest women I've ever met in my life.
Really?
Everyone was like, she's a diva. I go, she gave me a hug when I walked to her.
Yeah, but is she a diva though because she knows what she wants and she?
But see, that's the difference. People say the same thing about Jennifer Lopez, and I go, but I was on the road with Jennifer Lopez. I go, if you're a
how
woman,
was that?
And if you're a woman in this industry, in entertainment industry, and you're a boss like Jennifer Lopez, like Diana Ross, like people like that, on your way up, every dude in the world, including celebrities, was trying to make you a statistic. So if you're a bitch to somebody, you have the right. You know what I mean? You have every right to be that way, because everyone was trying to like jack you anyway. Or when you got there, instead of giving you accolades, they said something negative about you. Oh, she looks a little fat. Maybe she shouldn't eat that donut, or something stupid to try to tear you down. So I don't necessarily.
Yep.
Like with Ellen, I don't even have an opinion because I don't know Ellen. So how am I going to form an opinion based off of like this random story?
That's the thing. With everything going on, the only people that are going to know are the people that were involved.
Yeah, and everyone's going to have a different. People probably said, somebody told somebody at DeForest one time that they thought I was a scary person, and I just laughed.
What?
Like, they obviously don't know me.
No way.
But see how easy that can happen, and I'm not a celebrity. So if somebody has a bad day, like anyone has a bad day, is that who they are for the rest of their life? Right?
Yeah.
I have bad days. I've been an asshole to people because I was in a shitty mood that day. But
Well, you heard about that chick that made that TikTok about Hailey Bieber, and she ended up apologizing because this chick said that she was a waitress at this New York restaurant, and Hailey Bieber, there was no other. She pretty much just said she was a bitch.
Right.
And Hailey Bieber ended up apologizing for it, to be like, I didn't know that I came across that way. Like, I'm so sorry. I'll try to do better. And you're just like,
or sometimes
what did she? I mean,
just own it.
Yeah. Did she tip? Okay, then like let's move on. You know, like I saw one where somebody said Rick Ross left like I'm not going to remember the tip. It was like a cheap tip on a like multi-$100 bill. And I was like, Rick Ross has some explaining to do.
Right.
But like, whatever.
But maybe he did. But maybe that waitress was an asshole to Rick Ross.
We will never know. And it's like, why does everybody get uppity about it?
But everybody's automatically like, Rick Ross is guilty. You're like, how do you know that girl wasn't a bitch? How do you know he got shitty service? And because remember, gratuity is your discretion. It's not a law. Yeah. You don't have to tip. But somebody is trying to tear you down in the eyes of the public because you didn't leave a big enough tip for them on the bill, right? Yeah. But it's not against the law. You know what I mean? It's not against the law to not tip well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should tip well.
I try to tip well wherever. Especially
I always tip
now.
over 20% every time.
Yeah. Especially now.
Well, yeah, because now they really need it now. So I always make sure that they
even like Yeah. It's no one's
the world is just crazy. The world is freaking. I just have to navigate around it because we're gonna get past all this shit. So I just didn't want to be in a place when whatever happens, whether that it's just a different world we live in or not. Educate, get better at something,
and just keep going and love one another.
Huge. Like I'm the dude right now. I'm like there's like 3 of us out of 40.
Wow.
All day. Like they challenged us today. I was at this thing today, and the guy goes, because I had to do a 30-second concert promo, but I'm doing the voiceover and the music, and I'm doing the whole thing. So I had to go in there and be like, live coming to so-and-so. It's Justin Timberlake, whatever that is, right? And then I did it with Justin. And then he said, now do one with a comedian. And I did Cat Williams, right? So he goes, I have a challenge for Tim, Ryan, and Danny, and one other dude today. You have an hour to get this done. It's a 30-second promo, right? And he goes, ready? The comedian is Martin Lawrence. I was all click, 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 get up there and I go, live, you know I'm at Shenanigans. It was like, oh my goodness. And you hear all his one-liners I put in there. I'm the only one, even of the 4, who got it in on time. Everyone else is 20 minutes late.
That's why you can never sleep.
No, I'm trying to get on radio. I want to be able to do this from iHeart or something. You know what I mean? Or Sirius. I don't care. iHeart, Sirius, Intercom, right? And then, but like any of those platforms, I'll take it.
All right.
Because you can be anywhere. Most people right now broadcasting from home. Look at all the Fallon.
I know.
Gordon just went back. Fallon was. Stephen Colbert's still at home. I think Fallon's at home too.
I know a serious DJ, and he literally does his show. He does 2 of the channels. He does his show, and he does it pretty much from like 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. And he manages a bunch of the other shows during the day.
Wow.
And he does them wherever he is. He can bring his show with him.
Yeah.
He goes all over the world and is constantly just like, he's got his little backpack, and you're like, dude, that is cool.
That's awesome.
You know?
That's why I like broadcasting, stay in it. Cause I mean, I've done every facet, I can't even talk anymore, of this stuff, voiceovers and radio programming and podcasting. And then
you like broadcasting
music videos. I like all of it because I'm decent at most of it. So like the guy was like, shoot a commercial, do a storyboard. I already know these things because I've been in the business. So for me, it was like, oh, storyboard, no problem.
Isn't it funny though how hard it is for other people who have not done it?
Yeah, because for them it's like difficult. Chinese. They're like, what?
They're like storyboarding, script writing.
What's that?
What is this?
People don't realize. Well, they don't understand. So if you are a young entertainer and you've never really done it, you don't realize that comedians write all day.
All day. Yeah.
They don't just get up and tell jokes.
They're
meticulously laid out.
And they're failed at in front of people a couple of times.
And that's how they get better. But they write out and everybody, like on Saturday Night Live, they go in a room and they pitch every week, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then Lauren Michaels tells them, this one, not that one, this one, that one. But they're constantly writing. So people don't understand that a lot of these people were writers first. Conan was a writer. Stephen Colbert was a writer. They were on other people's shows. I think he was on like Jon Stewart, and then Trevor Noah was on the Colbert Report, and now Trevor Noah has his own show. And then you get like Seth Meyers was writing for other people, and now he's got it. You know what I mean? Like they're all pros. They've been at it forever. But the general public doesn't know that. They just go, oh,
no.
Britney. I like people who say, oh, Taylor Swift came out of left field. I go, no, she didn't. I said, Taylor Swift has been at it for over 10 years before you knew her name. And her parents put $2 million in her career before we knew who she was.
With a guitar.
Oh, yeah.
On KTLA when they first had her, and she was a nobody.
Nobody knew.
No one knew.
It's not new. Neil had already had hits with other artists.
Who was it? Margot Robbie had a good quote. She said, a bunch of people called her an overnight success. Yeah. And she goes, but no one knows about the footwork that I put in beforehand. And I couldn't agree with that more. Like everybody becomes an overnight success, but that term is BS because it's from somebody who has put in the work beforehand. Now, I know people that have become stars overnight, literally. And I'll just say they've either taken, it doesn't level out with the ones that have worked hard and then, kind of boost. Like J-Lo, right? Longevity for her. She'll die a legend.
Oh, yeah.
But the ones that usually skyrocket or downfall fast.
Yeah. People just don't know. They just go, oh, no one's up. Now, there are some that get famous for stupid reasons, like the what's the one Cash Me Outside girl and Honey Boo Boo. You know what I mean?
But she's making, I didn't even realize how much she made. girl is making bank because she's got some songs on TikTok, and TikTok and Spotify usually go hand in hand on the music charts. I didn't even she's got, it's not my particular type of music, but
it's because she had a follow. So when she went viral from Dr. Phil,
is she gonna be a viral success? We'll see.
On Dr. Phil, so Dr. Phil's kind of like the one who made her famous because she was on the Dr. Phil.
How about that?
No, like, Catch Me Outside. How about that and all that stupid stuff? And then
nobody gonna catch
Hollywood gave her a record deal because she was virally famous. That gave her more clout. Now you got millions of followers. Now you're just feeding them information. That's why Honey Boo Boo is still a name, right?
That one.
I mean, the dudes from the first season of the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those guys I saw DJing clubs in Vegas. You know what I mean?
Pauly D.
100,000 a night.
I like Pauly D. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. You know,
they were essentially the first hype house.
Which is
Jersey Shore was essentially the first hype house.
Well, before the Jersey Shore, there was what was the MTV?
True, Real World.
Real World, right?
Yeah.
That was the one. That was new for everybody to see people in space.
And everyone watched it.
Everybody watched it. And that's kind of what set
off.
I
want to see people interact. Now we got Bachelor and Survivor and Big Brother. People just want to see people interact with other people.
I have not seen one episode of Survivor.
I don't watch The Bachelor.
I can't. 15 years ago. And then
who? He was?
Chris was on it, a celebrity because he was married to Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
So he was on a Celebrity Survivor, which is weird because I saw them taping up in there's a hotel next to Jerry's Deli up in Los Angeles, and they would tape like one of those dating shows, like there at the pool, but it was like scripted reality. Okay, you're gonna go in, and they would send them, and then they would tape it, and they would, because you can't have complete reality without having chaos. So you have to script things. Well, you're gonna say this, make her mad. Cool.
Spread something in somebody's ear, or they'll just say one or two like little side jabs in there, and that's all it takes.
Was huge. Remember Punk'd with Ashton Kutcher? Punk'd was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like a time where and then that set a whole trend off. You know what I mean? It was just, okay, now there's this thing. So that was all that stuff was like, now people started shooting their own videos and Jackass went off, right? And then it just became this thing.
Did you see that today? Steve-O duct taped himself to a billboard.
Of course he did.
But that's not the first time he's had an interaction with a billboard. So.
And what's funny is he's sober now.
That I was wondering when I saw that, I was like, I hope to God he's still sober.
I hope he's still sober.
Yeah. You hope that if you duct tape yourself to a billboard that you're not like under the influence of something. But I know he's done stuff for like PETA, so I'm.
But you would do that because people talk about it.
It was on the news.
Why do you think
they went from COVID
run out and act like they're doing shit?
Cutting to live footage of the firefighters grabbing his naked butt. I think it was like half naked from the billboard and like putting him down. And you're like, oh my gosh. All right, well. It's better,
Well, because when's the last time you said Steve-O?
Nah, it's been a while.
Now, that's why. He knows what he's doing. That's what made him famous. He's not stupid.
I'm for it.
Yeah, I'm like, do whatever you got to do. Right now, I'm like, ride every train you can. Like, if you're going to do it, do it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, cool. It's all
That's why I'm doing those TikToks. I got nothing but time and opportunity.
Right. So we're going to have to do this again because we still have a billion things to talk about. And
I
I'm going to have
know.
recurring guests just like everybody on the planet.
I'm so down.
So we would like to thank you, Jennifer, for your time being here on the podcast, the Tim Stevenson podcast. We're growing and we're doing this thing we call broadcasting. But stay safe in Los Angeles. It's just like here, or Orange County, I should say. It's just like here. Everybody just doing their thing. But we will see you again. And please give your love to your mom and your dad who used to cook me food all the time.
You gotta come by.
I used to love going to your house.
My dad needs more customers, he said.
Yeah?
He doesn't have too many. So next time you're out here, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll talk again soon. Most definitely. So I will see you another day. We'll chat. Okay. And yeah.
Love you. Tell that I said hi.
All right, you too. All right.
Wake up, it's the Tim Stevenson Show.